Welcome to IROC Business with Confidence, the podcast where passion meets profit without the pressure of a big price tag. I'm your host, Corey Fonville Foster, transformational speaker, certified business coach, trainer, and the CEO behind the mic. In every episode, we dive deep into the heart of entrepreneurship, bringing you stories, strategies, and tips to monetize your passions while maintaining your budget. Whether you're a budding entrepreneur or looking to scale up, this is your go-to resource for affordable sales and marketing strategies. Join us as we interview small business experts from around the globe, sharing their journeys, challenges, and the solutions that propelled them to success. IROC Business with Confidence podcast is here to demystify the process of running a successful business on a budget. Get ready to transform your entrepreneurial dreams into reality, one episode at a time. Hello guys, Corey Fonville Foster here, and welcome to the IROC Business with Confidence podcast, where today we're shining a spotlight on the transformative power of personal branding with the incredible Hannah Kupoluyi. Hannah is the visionary founder of All Women's Network and the dynamic force behind Birth Your Vision podcast, with a passion for empowering women entrepreneurs, authors, coaches, and business owners, especially from underrepresented communities. Hannah has carved a niche in elevating personal brands. Join us as we dive into her journey, explore strategies for amplifying voices, and learn how to turn personal experiences into powerful brand narratives. Get ready to get inspired by Hannah's dedication to fostering a community of empowered and visible women in business. Let's welcome Hannah. Hello.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me on the show. I'm so excited.
I'm excited too. And look, shout outs to you. I know it's late where you are in the UK, but you are here. So thank you for being on the podcast.
You are more than welcome. It's a pleasure.
Awesome. So I'm excited to have you because I think it's so important that we do shine a light on personal brands. Most of the people who listen to the podcast are coaches and consultants. And oftentimes I think they don't realize that they are a brand within themselves and they are the face of their brand. So I love that we'll get to talk about that today. But before we dive in, I always like to give our guests an opportunity to kind of reintroduce themselves and tell us your journey on how you got into business.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm so delighted to be here. And so, I'm Hannah Kupoluyi and I'm a multi-award winning business coach. I'm also a podcast host and a keynote speaker. And so as a CEO and founder of All Women's Network, which is something that I've always had a passion of starting. And so it's really about sort of bringing women together, supporting them on building their personal brand through the media landscape. And so I'm also the host and executive producer of the Birth Your Vision podcast. And the idea is to basically help women, to empower them to also amplify their voices by sharing their entrepreneurial journey through live interviews, podcast guesting, magazine features, blogs, even telling them about how to put themselves forward for awards features, and also opportunity to be featured on the All Women's Network Business Club magazine. And so, I offer a range of services, including live interviews, podcast guesting, opportunity for magazine features, participation in live events, and also podcast launches, personal branding masterclasses. And, I focus more on business owners and authors and coaches, and especially women in business as well. So that's what I do in a nutshell. And you also said, why did I actually decide to start my business? Is that right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I founded my business because I recognized the transformative power of basically supporting women, authors, and coaches through personal branding. We are all a brand, to be quite honest with you. And so it's about basically empowering and also encouraging people to see themselves as a brand. And so, this basically started because I realized that it's important that, business women and also coaches and authors start to see themselves as a brand and also understand how to show up and amplify their voices through various multimedia channels, which is what I've already mentioned before. And it's about giving them the opportunity to be able to, really be visible. And also with visibility comes credibility, and also an opportunity for them to be able to monetize their expertise and their brilliance. And so the aim of all that I do is to basically empower this target group of people to be able to elevate their voices and also focus on their personal branding so that they have visibility, they have credibility, and they're able to monetize their expertise.
Wow, I think that's so amazing, because you're right. When people are able to be more visible, I tell people, they need to see you're booked and busy. They need to see you out in the world. It increases your credibility.
Yes, indeed.
So when people work with you, how do you help them? And of course, we're not going to give away all your trade secrets, but how do you help them increase their visibility? I know you mentioned a little bit about like podcasts and things like that, but sometimes it's hard to get booked on at least decent podcasts, or even, you can pitch 1,000 magazines. So what is your process of really helping them increase their visibility and showing off their personal brand?
Thank you so much. First and foremost, I just want to highlight how it was quite easy for me to get onto your podcast. And I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful, because as soon as I saw your post, it was about taking action. And I think we have to start from a place of taking action and implementation. We have to really go for what we want rather than waiting for it. Sometimes we have to prepare the table for ourselves, and sometimes we have to seek the opportunity. So I'm somebody that actually seek opportunity because I know what I want. I'm positioned in the place that I need to be. And I know the kind of podcast I'm personally looking for. And so I start with that. Once I identify what I need and what I want, I basically put myself forward. And what happens is that creates a ripple effect where other people can actually see me, for example, on your podcast, and they may actually want me to come onto their podcast. So it starts from taking action. And so I start from a place of encouraging my clients to take action. To really look at their type of business and the kind of target audience that they want to share their message, their story with, or even their offer with, and to basically look for podcasting opportunities that is available within their niche, and to basically put themselves forward for podcast guesting. There are so many platforms and directories that is actually, hosting podcast guesting, where you can actually sign in and put yourself forward. We also have Facebook pages that you can actually definitely put yourself forward, complete the form, and also send it off, and hopefully you will get someone to actually get in touch with you. So I always encourage my clients to basically position themselves as an authority figure, as an expert, and then seek specific podcast that has their target audience in mind, and basically put themselves forward for it. And I think it's about taking action. If you want something, you've got to go and get it. And then opportunity starts to, come through for you, and many doors starts to open. You start to get bookings to be able to be a speaker, a keynote speaker, so many different types of speaking engagements, and even, live interviews or even magazine features as well.
Wow, you told no lies there. And it's funny, you were like, it's easy to get on the podcast. Well, I'm gonna tell you, if you actually read when people are asking for podcast guests, and then you do what they say, yes, it can be easy. But I'm sure because you have a podcast as well. What tends to happen is we get a lot of people who don't read, and you can tell automatically they use their eye to answer, and they didn't even try really hard, or they don't even fit the podcast. So we're gonna take a little bridge over real fast to kind of talk and be real for a second, because I want people to seize the opportunity, take action, because it is important. Like you said, you have to prepare the table. So many people are waiting for opportunities to kind of just fall in their lap, but the people who are successful actually have to go out and seize those opportunities. But we also have to be smart, and I love how you talked about figuring out, like, based on what you do, your niche, what is the appropriate places that you should be pitching. So what are maybe some things that you think about, or that you even tell your clients about when they are looking for opportunities to pitch themselves? Is there any type of format they should use, or should they maybe tell more of their personal story? How can they book more or land more gigs when it comes to speaking and podcasts?
Yeah, thank you so much for that. So I offer a masterclass training, which actually covers everything to do with the multimedia channel. So my personal branding focuses more on elevate your personal brand in the media landscape, because I've been featured on different types of media platforms, such as live interviews, publications, magazines, articles, newspapers, podcast guesting, live interviews, speaking engagements, and so on and so forth. So my years of experience, I've packaged it into a masterclass. So the question that you've asked me is actually one of the modules that we actually offer within the masterclass. But I'm going to share a little bit in regards to what you've mentioned. I think we have to be very honest with ourselves, and we need to be the one really looking at how we want to show up and how we want to be perceived, because personal branding is about what people perceive you as when you're not in the room. What are people saying about you? And so you've got to start there. So you've got to look at different types of podcast that is basically representing your business, and you want to basically put yourself forward for those type of podcasts, and you want to definitely be clear as to the messaging that you want to be sharing with that audience. So you want to definitely prepare yourself, make sure that you have a speaker sheet ready, so that really shows your bio, it shows some of your credentials, and definitely what you're definitely good at, so that people can see that you're an expert in this specific area. So you want to basically have that ready, so that when you are in the process of looking for podcasting, you can actually tender your speaker sheet so that they can actually see what you're very good at, and you can actually be a potential podcast guest on their show. So have a speaker sheet ready, and also make sure that you have your equipment ready. So for example, you want to ensure that you have good lighting, which is very crucial. You want to ensure that you have the good mic, essential, which is very important. And you also want to show up the way you want to be perceived, the way you want to be valued and respected. You want to focus more on being confident, being able to express yourself, effective communication, and you basically just want to be yourself. So it's very important that you basically focus on the target audience of the podcast that you want to be on, making sure that you have a good message, and even an opportunity for you to offer something for free, which is amazing. And also share if you have any special signature offer coming up that you feel the audience would benefit from. And you want to build a beautiful rapport with the host, because this is where doors are open, collaboration and opportunities. By you showing up and being visible, you give the host an opportunity to put you forward for other podcasting opportunities should they arise. So I think all these things will definitely help you to really put yourself forward as a podcast guest.
Well, I hope you guys were listening, taking notes, because she dropped so many great tips. I think the biggest takeaway that I would love to kind of reiterate is being yourself, being authentic. Yeah. Don't be out here trying to be somebody else. Show up the way that you want to show up, because the people who are seeing these podcasts, these keynote speeches, wherever you are, these magazine articles, they are potential clients of yours, right? They are people who could be potential collaborators, and you want them to connect with the true essence of who you are and who your brand is. Now, to pivot a little bit, I love, because my team puts together a little packet for me where I can read about our upcoming guests, and I love that you really focus on serving the underrepresented, right? Women entrepreneurs, women from other different niches that, again, we don't often get to see, or they're not always put in the forefront. So can you tell us a little bit about why you chose to kind of focus on those individuals, and why do you think it's important that their voices are heard?
Thank you so much for that question. For me personally, apart from serving, coaches, authors, and women in business, I also basically particularly focus on those from diverse backgrounds and underrepresented communities. And basically, my mission for this particular group of people is to basically provide a platform for them to be able to share their voice authentically and be themselves, to also help them to amplify their voice and also gain visibility through all these channels, such as the live interviews and podcast guesting, storytelling magazine features, as well as participation in our life events, because I feel that this group are definitely underrepresented. And, just for example, picking up a magazine, how many people do you see that looks like you and I in the front covers of magazine? There isn't a lot, to be quite honest. And sometimes we don't have the voice, and sometimes even when we want to be seen in certain places in terms of the magazines and stuff like that, there is very limited opportunities. And so for me, it was important for me to create a platform where there is an opportunity for underrepresented communities to be able to be part of what is it that I do. So for example, I would, create an opportunity for us to be in a magazine, people that looks just like me, you and I, to be on the front cover of a magazine, an opportunity to have a 2-page spread about their story, their journey, really looking into their storytelling, and also offering live podcast guesting, because I think it's important that we are seen, we are heard, and we are visible. And I really want to basically continue to, provide this opportunity and this mission to support as many underrepresented business owners and also underrepresented groups as well, to give them the opportunity that they have been looking for and they've not been able to get access to. I want to create that opportunity and that access for them to be able to showcase and to have the visibility that they deserve.
Yeah, I think it's so important. I'm happy you say that. A lot of times people get on the podcast and they kind of skirt around, they'll work with, and they'll kind of skirt around it. And I'm like, no, like let's share that, because who's for you is for you. And I get some of you maybe listening and saying, well, I don't fit that. That's okay. You're still getting gems. But for those of you who are listening and you do fit that group of individuals, and you're like, yes, I have been looking for an opportunity. I have been looking for community, right? With people who look like me, who share some of my experiences. Because let's be real, that's what it is. It's we share similar experiences, we share similar hurdles and challenges. And so it's amazing that places like this exist where we can have opportunities. Because you're right, I don't see too many of us, on the face of a magazine. They're far few in between, even podcasts. Oftentimes, when you look at the podcast landscape, who has podcasts, especially thriving podcasts and podcast communities, a lot of people don't look like us. And it is hard sometimes to get into those groups because we don't necessarily fit in, or it's not the most comfortable setting. So I really do applaud you in creating a safe space for us to have opportunities and to be able to share, because we have so many amazing experts out there, new business owners, established business owners, people with something to share that need a place to do that. So thank you for that. And guys, if you're listening, like, how do I get on? We're going to talk about it. Hold on. We're going to give you guys some opportunities. I did not forget. People always do that. They're like, well, how do I get in contact? First of all, her information is in the show notes, but I'll mention it at the end. But also, there are some other opportunities to work with Hannah, and we will share that as well. But before we about the fact that you mentioned live interviews a few times, and I worked with clients who are terrified of anything live because they're like, what if I mess up? What if I stumble? So share a little bit about why live interviews and speaking engagements are important, but also how do we get over that fear of like, what if I make a fool of myself?
Yeah, absolutely. You're so right. People are so petrified about showing up online. But I just say to people, you know what, be yourself and practice, because practice, right, makes perfect. Eventually you become good at what is it that you're not really good at. So I'll say practice, and, let other people watch you within your family circle and give you, feedback, and practice some more. And then once you feel confident, put yourself forward, because there's so many different live interviews. It can be online, it can be face to face, and so you want to start with something that you feel comfortable with, whether it's a live interview that is online in the comfort of your home, and you want to basically just give it a go. Sometimes we need to do things even though we are fearful, do it in fear. And my mantra is always do it anyway. So I will say to you, just be yourself. Do it in fear, even though you're scared. Once you've done the first one, you build up that confident muscle. You build up that resilience that you're able to now say to yourself, you know what, I'm proud of me. I gave myself a shot. And I'm so glad that I did it, because now I can focus on even putting myself forward for more live interviews and build up my confidence. Both of us, I'm sure at some point we weren't really that confident the way we are now, but because we've actually we've made a decision to push ourselves out of the comfort zone into the growth zone, because we know what it's like to be in the growth zone. A lot of opportunity comes because people see your confidence. People see that you are good and you are great at what you do, and you are presenting yourself as an authority figure, as an expert, someone who's credible. So they will choose you because you show and you exude confidence. But if you do not give it a go and you're sitting on the fence, telling yourself that you are scared, then what happens is you will always be scared. So sometimes it requires you to take the first step. Once you take the first step, things become a lot more easier. And I just want you to believe in yourself and in your own abilities, and to also be authentic. Try not to be somebody else, because sometimes we are looking for validation from other people. We're looking for other people to believe in our skills and our ability. But to be quite honest with you, what I would encourage you to do is to believe in yourself, to believe in what the message that you want to share with the target audience. And once you decide to really focus on showing up, whether you're scared, whether you're fearful, just do it anyway. Once you start doing that, it becomes a lot more easier. But you've got to take the first step, and you've got to be authentic and just be yourself. Whether you're an introvert, whether you're an extrovert, it doesn't matter. Show up as you, because that alone carries grace. You being your unique self carries grace. You are going to attract, even if it's one person that you attract, you're going to make a difference in that person's life. And that's where it starts, So number one, position yourself as an authority figure. Number two, show up whether you're scared, whether you're frightful. Just show up and just do it in fear anyway. And then you can actually go back and look at the video, even though it's a bit cringy sometimes. I don't know how you feel. Do you like to look at your videos back again? Or you feel a little bit like, oh, I don't want to hear my voice? It doesn't matter. What matters is the message. What message have you been sent to share with the world? What message do you have inside of you that others are waiting to hear? What message of transformation do you have to transform other people's life? Well, you can't take that message to the grave. So think of it as in, I have a message. It doesn't matter whether I'm scared or not. I've got to show up for the people who are ready, right, to get transformed. So that's where I'll leave it for now.
Another word given. I'm like, she is out here giving y'all the trueness. And it's true, though. And I think just being honest, even now that I've been speaking for years, there have still been engagements, whether they've been live or pre-recorded, where I walk away being like, dang, that wasn't the best one ever. But everybody has an off day. So don't think that one day you're gonna hit this peak where you're never gonna have an off day. It happens, but you will surprise yourself. Get out of your comfort zone, like you said. Let's do it, because you'll be so proud of yourself. I've done several engagements where I'm like, I did that. Like, what? Who just showed up, who blew these people away? And those are the moments where I'm like, wow, I'm so happy that I, like you said, got out my comfort zone and just did it anyway. So I love everything you said. Just was like, yes. Yeah. so like, I always look at the time. I'm like, no, we're running out of time, because we always have so much we can talk about. But I do want to give some advice. So when it comes to new entrepreneurs, because I know there are people here who are just getting started, and they may say, I'm years from speaking, even though that's not true, because you're an expert. What advice would you give someone just starting the process of trying to kind of establish themselves as a personal brand and start building their visibility?
Yeah, so what I would say is to basically just define their niche, because they have to understand what their niche is, and also to basically clarify who their target audience is, so that they can actually just tailor their offerings to meet the specific needs of their target audience. Because eventually this will actually build up a focused and dedicated customer base for them, so they understand what their niche is and who their target audience is. And also, I would also say for them to basically just embrace learning, which is very important, because every day we're learning new things, new technologies, new ideas, and new market trends as well. So for them to really empower themselves and equip themselves with reading, attending workshops, engage in mentorships, and also having a coach to help them. And when it comes to personal branding, I will say to you, remember that you are a brand. Once you see yourself as a brand, you need to start showing up for you and show up for yourself. And then you want to basically start creating just a simple content to show what problems it is that you can solve to help the people that you are helping. And you also want to kind of look at setting up a simple, social media page where people can actually reach you. And you want to be looking at the problems people in your target audience are facing. And you want to be taking those problems and be giving them tips and ideas on how to solve them. And that's when people start to see you as a personal brand, somebody who's able to solve a problem and someone who's able to offer even more should I sign up to their signature offer. So, it's about just showing up, being yourself, being authentic, and, being the authority figure and focusing more on solving problems and also helping people to have a transformation, which I think is very vital.
Yes, I agree 100% with everything you said. I feel like you just gave people a little marketing strategy right there. Like, look, this is where we're going to start. This is how we're going. So again, I hope you had your paper and pen out, because there was so many great tips today that were given for implementation. That's my favorite word, guys. Like, get it done. This is what we need to do. So if you've been listening, whether you're starting out or whether you've been in the game for a while, you now have some tools and strategies for getting it done, getting out here, being more visible, booking more podcasts, live, pre-recorded engagements, keynotes. Like, I want to see you guys out here. And if that happens, if you go do the work, I want you to tag us so we know. Like, give listen to her, because I definitely know that if you want it, you can get it done. Right? Yeah. We talked about that early on. If you really want it, you can go out here and seize these opportunities, because they're definitely out here. People are every day looking for podcast guests, looking for speakers for their events, whether they're live or virtual. You just have to go out here and make yourself known that you are an expert and that you have something to offer. But before we go, because I know what you guys are yelling at in the screen right now, or yelling at your phone and saying, "How do we get in touch with Hannah?" Here we go. Because Hannah offers a variety of things. She has master classes, she has assessments, and more. So Hannah, I'm going to give you the floor to tell us a little bit about where people can find you and what it is that you offer, so that they can be connected with you.
Thank you so much for that and this amazing opportunity. So I offer a wonderful masterclass, which is Elevate Your Personal Brand in the Media Masterclass. It's a 6 weeks online masterclass, which we focus on key areas, which is to help you to get yourself featured in different types of multimedia platforms. And so as a business coach myself, I've dedicated my time in terms of supporting women entrepreneurs, authors, coaches, and business owners to be able to strategically just leverage the diverse media channels to amplify their voice and to also contribute to their personal branding as well. And so this masterclass covers live interviews, how you can engage with live interviews, how you can actually share your stories, and also strategies, and also connecting with broader audience. We also go through podcast guesting, just like what I'm doing today. Opportunities for you to be able to get yourself on a show, to share your offers, to also have a conversation, to be part of a group of experts, to connect with new audiences, and also to help you with your personal brand visibility. We also dive into storytelling, crafting and compelling, different amazing narratives in various mediums. We also look at magazine features as well, which is amazing. We have a magazine, the All Women's Network Business Club magazine, and there's an opportunity for you to get yourself featured in our magazine, and also to share your story and also your offers, as well as your social media handles will be in our magazine as well. And so we also cover industry events and awards. So it's a really multi-channel approach masterclass that would help you to really amplify your personal brand and also allow you to be more visible and more authentic, to make an impact, and to also, really focus on monetizing your brilliance and your expertise. And so we also have a wonderful offer, which is a magazine. We are celebrating International Women's Month in March, and we are definitely creating an opportunity to give women in business an opportunity to be able to be featured in our Match edition, where you can actually share your story and share your offers in our magazine. And so if you are interested, there is a link that you can actually just book a one-to-one with me, so I could get to know you a little bit better and your story, and we can actually help you to get your personal branding featured in our Match edition. So I hope that really is something that you guys will be interested in, and I look forward to working and hearing a lot more from each and every one of you. Thank you.
Awesome. So now you know all the amazing things that has going on. I do have her website on the screen. She's also available on Instagram and Facebook. So please make sure that you connect with her on those platforms. If you're listening, no worries. All this information will be in the show notes. But like I say with every guest, because I don't bring on anybody who's not amazing. Do not let this be the last time that you connect with them. Don't let you get all excited today and be like, oh yeah, that was so amazing. And then like, who's Hannah? Right now,
do it now.
Yes, go like her pages, subscribe, do all the things so that you can stay connected. We only have such a short time on the podcast to pull all of their expertise out and to hear all their amazing information, tips, and strategies. She's been in business for years. She obviously can't give you all of it in 30 minutes, so definitely connect with her. And if you feel like you want to seize one of the opportunities, whether it's to take that masterclass or to connect with her, see if there's any one-on-one opportunities, or if you want to see about getting featured in the magazine, please do reach out, because we've already told you got to seize those opportunities. So look out. Go ahead, Hannah, see how. But again, Hannah, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. You gave so much information. So thank you. And for you guys listening, this is just the beginning. Remember, we drop an episode every single week, and we bring on another amazing guest every single week that we have an episode. So until next time, remember, I rock, you rock, we all rock. And we're going to talk to you guys next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
A wrap on another episode of IROC Business with Confidence podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining our journey into the world of entrepreneurship. If today's episode inspired you or just gave you the tools to tackle your next business challenge, we'd love your support. Please like, share, follow, subscribe, and rate us with a glowing 5 stars. And don't forget to leave us a review. Are you an entrepreneur with a unique perspective, expertise, or actionable strategies that our audience can implement today to advance their entrepreneurial journey? We're always on the lookout for guests who are ready to share their stories and insights. If that's you, please reach out to us. Remember, entrepreneurship isn't just about the destination, it's about the journey. And here at IROC Business with Confidence, we're here to journey with you. Until next time, keep rocking your business with confidence. We can't wait to see where your entrepreneurship journey